Listen, y'all, we got to talk about something real, safe sex. Now, I know some folks get all nervous when they hear that, but let's be grown about this. Life ain't just about having a good time. It's about making sure you can keep having good times tomorrow too. See, your health is one of the most valuable things you got. You can't buy another one. You can't trade it in when it's worn out. So why play with it like it's nothing? Your health is the most valuable thing you own. Think about it. Without good health, everything else becomes harder. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how many followers you got, or how good you look on the outside. If your health is falling apart, life will feel like it's working against you. That's why when we talk about protecting yourself, especially when it comes to sex, it's really about protecting that one thing you can't buy back, your health. So many people treat their health like it's an endless resource. They think they can just bounce back from anything. But the truth is, your body keeps a record of everything you do to it. Every choice you make, good or bad, adds up. When you put yourself at risk by having unprotected sex, you're not just taking a small gamble. You're gambling with your future. Some infections can be treated and go away, but others can stay with you for life. And if you don't know you have one, you can pass it on to someone you care about, which can create a whole chain of hurt. Here's the thing. When you take steps to protect your health, you're telling yourself, I matter. That's self-respect. It's saying, I value my future enough not to put it in danger for a few minutes of pleasure. And let's be real. If somebody is pressuring you not to use protection, that person is not thinking about your health, your goals, or your future. That's why the choice has to come from you. You have to be the one who says, no, this is what I need to feel safe. Taking care of your health also means having honest conversations. It might feel awkward to talk about testing or protection, but honesty can save you from a lifetime of stress. A healthy relationship, whether casual or serious, includes communication about what both people need to stay safe. If you can't talk about it, you shouldn't be doing it. Simple as that. And let's not forget that protecting your health doesn't just keep you safe physically. It also protects your mental and emotional well-being. There's nothing worse than lying awake at night, stressed and worried because you made a risky choice. Peace of mind is worth so much more than a moment of recklessness. Knowing you took precautions lets you move forward with confidence instead of fear. Taking care of your health also keeps doors open for your future. Imagine all the dreams you have, traveling, building a career, finding love, starting a family when the time is right. Staying healthy is the foundation that allows those dreams to come true. When you protect your health now, you're not just avoiding problems. You are setting yourself up to enjoy everything life has to offer later. So when we say your health is priceless, we mean it. No one else can take care of your body like you can. No one else will face the consequences of your choices like you will. And no one else will benefit more from you staying healthy than you. Protecting yourself is not about fear. It's about freedom. The freedom to live, love, and enjoy life without regrets. When people hear the word safe sex, some immediately think it's about rules, restrictions, and killing the mood. But in reality, safe sex is what keeps the fun alive. It's what makes intimacy enjoyable instead of stressful. Because let's be honest, nothing ruins a moment faster than fear. Fear of getting sick, fear of catching something you can't get rid of, fear of a surprise pregnancy that flips your whole world upside down. When you choose to protect yourself, you take all that fear off the table. You free yourself up to actually be present, to enjoy what's happening without your brain running a mile a minute, worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow. Safe sex is not about being scared. It's about being smart. It's about making sure that you can keep having a good time again and again without it turning into a bad memory. People think being responsible is boring, but there's nothing boring about having peace of mind. Think about it. When you know you're safe, when you know you've done what you need to do to protect yourself, the whole experience becomes better. You're not holding back. You're not distracted, and you're not carrying guilt or worry afterward. And let's not pretend there aren't consequences to unsafe sex. The world has changed. There are infections out there that are easy to catch if you're not careful, and some of them can stay with you for life. That's not about scaring anybody. That's just facts. It's way more fun to spend a Saturday doing what you love than sitting in a clinic waiting to hear news you don't want to hear. Safe sex means you can wake up the next day without regret, without panic, and without having to make phone calls you never wanted to make. Another thing people forget is that safe sex isn't just about condoms or birth control. It's also about communication. Talking to your partner about what you need, asking about their status, being clear about using protection. That's part of keeping things fun too, because nothing is more uncomfortable than being with someone you can't be real with. If you can't have an honest conversation with them, you probably shouldn't be sharing something as intimate as your body. Respecting each other enough to talk openly builds trust, and trust makes everything better. Safe sex also protects the future of the relationship, whether it's a one-time thing or something long-term. Imagine how much drama and pain can be avoided by simply being careful. You protect not just yourself, but also the person you're with. That shows maturity. That shows care. And let's be honest, caring about the person you're with makes intimacy more meaningful and enjoyable. And here's the biggest part. Safe sex protects your freedom to keep having fun. If you catch something permanent or end up in a situation you're not ready for, your choices get limited real quick. Protecting yourself means you stay in control. You get to choose when you're ready to start a family. You get to choose who you share your life with. And you get to keep saying yes to opportunities because you're not dealing with consequences you didn't plan for. So if anybody ever tries to make you feel like safe sex is unnecessary or uncool, remember this, safe sex is what keeps the good times rolling. It's not about taking away the fun. It's about making sure the fun doesn't come back to bite you later. When you protect yourself, you protect the experience, the trust, and the future. That's not just smart. That's how you make sure life stays exciting, enjoyable, and free from unnecessary drama. Prevention is one of the most powerful tools you have in life. It's about staying ahead of problems before they even have a chance to show up. When it comes to sex and relationships, prevention isn't just a good idea. It's a game changer. It's what keeps you healthy, keeps you in control, and keeps you from facing challenges that could have been avoided in the first place. Think about it like this. Prevention is a shield. Every time you choose to use protection, every time you go for a regular health checkup, every time you have that honest conversation with a partner, you're putting up a shield that keeps problems out. It's not about living in fear. It's about living smart. There's nothing weak about being careful. In fact, it takes real strength to make choices that protect your future when temptation is right in front of you. Some people think prevention is extra work, but in reality, prevention saves you from way bigger work later. It's a lot easier to put on protection than it is to deal with the emotional, physical, and financial cost of an untreated infection or an unplanned pregnancy. Prevention saves you time, money, and stress. And it's not just about you. It also protects the people around you. When you take steps to stay healthy, you're helping keep your partners and even your future family safe. That's real responsibility. Prevention also gives you peace of mind, which is powerful by itself. When you know you've done what you can to stay safe, you don't have to live with anxiety or worry about what might happen next. You can focus on enjoying life, on building your goals, on creating relationships that are built on trust instead of secrets. Prevention takes away that mental weight and lets you move freely without second guessing yourself every time you make a decision. And prevention doesn't just stop at physical health. It also includes emotional and mental health, setting boundaries, choosing partners who respect you, and saying no when you need to. All of that is prevention too. It's about preventing yourself from being in situations that can hurt you, break your confidence, or put you at risk. That's what makes prevention so powerful. It works on every level, not just one. Another important thing to understand is that prevention gives you power over your future. When you take preventive steps, you're saying, I am in control of what happens next. You're not just letting life happen to you. You're making sure your dreams, plans, and goals stay on track. You can decide when you're ready to have a family. You can avoid medical bills that could set you back financially, and you can keep your relationship strong and drama-free. That's not just prevention. That's power over your own destiny. So the next time you think prevention is too much work or too uncomfortable, remind yourself that it's actually the strongest move you can make. It's the difference between living in reaction mode, always cleaning up messes, and living in control, building a life that you're proud of. Prevention might take a little thought and effort right now, but the freedom it gives you is priceless. It keeps you safe, it keeps you confident, and it keeps you moving forward without unnecessary setbacks. Prevention really is power, the power to protect your health, your happiness, and your future. Life is full of surprises, and some of them are wonderful, but there are certain surprises that can turn your whole world upside down if you're not ready for them. That's what happens when you don't take precautions. You open the door to unplanned consequences. And let's be real, unplanned consequences don't just affect today, they can affect your future, your health, your relationships, and even your finances. Taking steps to avoid those situations isn't about fear. It's about staying in control of your life and your choices. Unprotected sex can lead to two major kinds of consequences: health problems and unexpected pregnancies. Both of these can change everything overnight. A sexually transmitted infection can be as simple as something treatable with medicine, or it can be something that stays with you for life. Some infections can even impact your ability to have children later on if they're not treated early. That's not something most people think about in the heat of the moment, but it's a very real possibility. Prevention isn't about being scared. It's about respecting your body enough to keep it safe from harm. And then there's pregnancy. Children are a blessing, but becoming a parent is one of the biggest responsibilities you will ever have. If you're not ready financially, emotionally, or mentally, that responsibility can feel overwhelming. It can change the direction of your education, your career, and even your relationships. Having a child is a lifelong commitment, and it deserves serious thought and preparation. That's why avoiding unplanned pregnancies until you're ready is one of the most powerful decisions you can make for yourself. It lets you step into parenthood by choice, not by surprise. Avoiding unplanned consequences also protects your peace of mind. There's nothing worse than sitting in fear, waiting for test results, or worrying about whether your life is about to change forever. That kind of stress can eat away at your happiness, your focus, and even your health. Making safe choices upfront removes that weight from your shoulders. You get to wake up the next day without regret, knowing you took care of yourself and stayed in control. It's also about respecting the other person involved. Unplanned consequences don't just affect you, they affect your partner too. Whether it's sharing news about an infection or dealing with an unexpected pregnancy, those are conversations that can be hard, emotional, and even painful. Choosing to protect yourself means you're also protecting them from those same fears and challenges. That's what respect looks like in action. One of the most important things to remember is that avoiding unplanned consequences gives you freedom. Freedom to keep chasing your dreams. Freedom to focus on school, work, travel, or whatever goals you have for yourself right now. Freedom to choose when and how to start a family. Freedom to build healthy, happy relationships that aren't weighed down by worry or drama. At the end of the day, avoiding unplanned consequences is really about valuing your future. You have so much potential, so many opportunities ahead of you, and you don't want to risk losing them because of a split-second decision. It's not about saying no to fun. It's about saying yes to your future, yes to your goals, yes to living life on your terms. You deserve to stay in control of your life. And the smartest way to do that is by making decisions today that keep you safe tomorrow. Respect is at the heart of every healthy relationship, and that includes the choices you make about sex. When you respect yourself, you recognize your value. You understand that your body, your health, and your emotions matter, and you act like it. Respecting yourself means setting standards, creating boundaries, and refusing to compromise them just to please someone else. It means saying, I am worth being protected. I am worth honesty. I am worth waiting for the right time. When you take care of yourself, you send a powerful message about how you expect to be treated. Respecting yourself also means protecting your future. You've worked hard to get where you are, and you have goals you want to reach. Making smart choices about sex is one of the ways you stay on track. When you use protection, get tested regularly, and stay informed, you're saying, my dreams matter too much to risk them. That's not weakness. That's confidence. It takes strength to say no to situations that put your health or happiness at risk. Respecting your partner is just as important. If you care about someone, you don't put them in harm's way. You don't expose them to unnecessary risk or leave them to deal with consequences they didn't sign up for. Using protection isn't just about you. It's a sign that you value the other person's well-being too. When you make decisions that keep them safe, you're showing them that you care about more than just the moment. You care about their health, their future, and their peace of mind. Communication is one of the biggest ways to show respect. Having open, honest conversations about protection, testing, and boundaries builds trust between you and your partner. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but real respect is about being truthful, even when it's not easy. Talking about these things up front avoids misunderstandings and ensures that both people are on the same page. When you communicate clearly, you create a space where both of you feel safe and respected. Respect also means not pressuring anyone into doing something they don't want to do, including yourself. If you're not ready, it's okay to say no. If your partner isn't ready, it's important to listen. Real intimacy comes from mutual agreement and mutual care, not from pressure or guilt. When both people respect each other's choices, the relationship becomes healthier and stronger. Another part of respect is accountability. If something goes wrong, maybe a condom breaks, maybe a mistake happens. Taking responsibility is a sign of maturity. Ignoring the problem or hiding it only makes things worse. Respect means facing the situation together, getting tested if necessary, and making sure both people are okay. That kind of honesty strengthens the bond between you and your partner. Ultimately, respect is the foundation for everything else. It's what makes intimacy meaningful instead of reckless. It's what turns a physical connection into something that actually builds you up rather than tears you down. When you respect yourself and your partner, you create a relationship that feels safe, supportive, and full of trust. You both walk away from every experience knowing you were valued, cared for, and protected. And that's what makes sex not just safe, but truly fulfilling. Your future is one of the most important things you have, and the decisions you make right now play a huge role in shaping it. Every choice you make either moves you closer to the life you want or takes you further away from it. When it comes to sex and relationships, staying in control of your future means making decisions that protect your health, your goals, and your peace of mind. It means refusing to let one impulsive moment decide the course of your entire life. When you choose to practice safe sex, you are choosing control. You are saying, I am not going to let an accident or a mistake decide what happens next. Unplanned pregnancies, untreated infections, or emotional stress from risky decisions can throw your plans off track fast. They can affect your education, your career, your relationships, and even your mental health. By taking precautions now, you keep yourself free to choose when and how you want those life-changing events to happen. Control also means planning ahead instead of leaving things up to chance. Some people think planning for sex takes away the excitement, but the truth is it gives you more freedom to enjoy the moment without worry. When you have protection ready, when you know both you and your partner are tested and healthy, you can focus on connection instead of fear. Planning puts you in charge, not luck, not fate, not anyone else. Staying in control of your future also means being intentional about who you share your body with. Not everyone deserves access to your most intimate self. Choosing partners who respect you, who value safety, and who share your goals makes all the difference. When you are careful about who you trust, you avoid a lot of drama and pain down the road. The people you connect with should be helping you move forward, not holding you back or putting you at risk. Another key part of controlling your future is protecting your emotional well-being. Sex is not just a physical act. It's emotional too. Making choices that line up with your values keeps you from feeling regret or shame later. You get to look back on your decisions with pride, knowing you stayed true to yourself and your goals. That confidence will carry you into every area of your life, helping you stay focused and motivated. Control gives you freedom. The freedom to graduate school on time, to start a career, to travel, to build the life you've been dreaming about. When you avoid risky decisions, you avoid obstacles that could slow you down or completely change your path. You get to choose when you're ready to be a parent, when you want to settle down, and when you're prepared for the responsibilities that come with those decisions. At the end of the day, control over your future comes down to self-respect. You are the author of your story, and every choice you make is a line you're writing. Practicing safe sex is one of the ways you make sure that story turns out the way you want it to. It's about keeping your power, protecting your freedom, and building a future that excites you instead of one you feel trapped in. You deserve to live a life you chose, not a life that was chosen for you by one careless moment.